how did or how does your faith factor into you living with SB?
Um, okay, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. My mind went blank. Read the question. Can you say it again? How did my faith?
How did or how does your faith factor into you living with spina bifida?
Okay. Um, so as you know, my faith plays a very, actually, I think it's the most important thing in my life. My relationship with God has carried me through the toughest times in my life. Like I literally, and I know you hear people say it all the time, and they say it because it's really true. Like I am nothing without God. Like the things that I have been through, the things that I have experienced medically, if I didn't know Jesus, I don't know where, like, I literally probably wouldn't be alive. I'd probably be somewhere laid up in a hospital, clinging to life or already gone. Because, as they say, life be life. But God, like my faith has really stood the test of time. And I'm a really firm believer in Christ, but sometimes we get weak in our belief.
We all do,
When certain things happen to us, I'd be like, Lord, okay, like this past year of my life alone, I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't know how you're gonna do this. I don't know how you're gonna work this out, but I know you're gonna work this out. You did not bring me this far to let me go, to let me wither away, or allow something to take me out of here. And I know that we all have an appointed time that we have to leave this earth. But I'm like, Lord, I know it's not now. I mean, at first, when I heard the news, I was like, okay, this might be it. But just really staying in the Word, learning different scriptures and applying them to your life, and finding scriptures that pertain to whatever it is that you're going through, to your situation, it helps tremendously. Prayer is also very key, very important in my life. I probably don't do it enough, but God still answers those small, quick breath prayers as well. Mm-hmm. So my faith has really carried me. I think that is what carried me this far. And I'm thankful that, for my upbringing, that my mom raised me in church, and taught me how to pray and how to have and develop my own personal relationship with Christ, and not just go off of her prayers. Of course, her prayers are still carrying me through, but she taught me as a young child how to pray for myself, because mama or whoever isn't going to always be there. So you have to learn how, just like how the world says, you have to learn how to fend for yourself. You literally, in your relationship with Christ, you have to learn how to fend for yourself and not go off of what other people believe or what their prayers. You have to have your own personal relationship. So it has really kept me through everything, literally, in my
Have
life.
you ever got mad? Because some people say you shouldn't get mad at him, but
At God.
yeah. So have you ever gotten mad? Have you ever questioned him for either your SB or your current situation, which we'll get
With that
into?
thing. With that thing.
Yeah.
No, I've never questioned him about Spina Bifida. Never. Um, because I understood at a very young age that everything happens for a reason. And I was born this way for a reason and a purpose. I didn't always know that reason and purpose, but as I got older and deepened my relationship with Christ, I learned more about purpose. I learned what it means to be a light in a dark world. So I never really questioned him about spina bifida, or I've never been the type of person to wake up in the morning like, oh God, I can't walk. Like, because I mean, it's normal to me. Like, I get up out of the bed and get in my chair, so that's all I've really known. So it's not like a lot of people always say, I'm going to pray for you to walk again. I'm like, first of all, I never really walked.
Yeah.
And people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that, kind of like that. They always say, that's not funny. I'm like, well, it's funny to me because it's true.
Yeah.
I laugh. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to get offended because I'm the one that said it,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't question him. I question him about a few things, but not really spina bifida.
So, this is kind of off topic, but on topic. How has your church family or your faith circle been with you with your SB and in your current situation that
So
we'll talk about
with
later?
so with SB, they actually wasn't really familiar with it. So anytime, I'm, being Facebook friends with me, that I'm very transparent.
Yeah.
I don't really hide much of what I go through. And it's not because, a lot of people, they say, I don't want to tell my business, and, which I get it. It's not for everybody. But just like your show, your what we're doing now, you're saying that we overcome by the word of our testimony. How will people know that God can deliver them and heal them from certain things if you don't open your mouth and tell them? I don't feel like he gives us things like spina bifida and brings us through this diagnosis and different things that comes with it for us to be quiet about it. I feel like he brings us out and delivers us, heals us of the things to be a witness and a testament of what he can do. So who am I to be quiet and not tell, basically my testimony. So my church family, I've been a member at my church for, oh gosh, I think for about 22 years. Well, since I was 16 going on 17. And I'll be 39 next month. And every time that I post, like, they didn't know October is Spina Bifida Awareness Month. Everybody is so used to hearing breast cancer this, breast cancer that. And when I told them about it, they were like, okay, let's get this table together so we can kind of showcase and, so they were very receptive and eager to learn about it. And every time they learn something new about it, they're like, thank you for educating us. And, hey, if you got some more information, let us know. So they're very receptive about
it. Good that you have that. I mean, my church family that where I grew up going to church, they've been very supportive. The pastor's been very supportive. One of my biggest supporters. And that's helped. It's important, and yes, this I don't remember. No, and she's the one that I don't know if she was the real. She was my first episode, but I probably always had this idea for this show in the back of my mind because ever since I wrote my book, and even before I wrote my book, when I did my documentary, telling your story is so important because it frees you. And then me doing my Testimony Tuesday videos and talking about some stuff that my mother and my grandmother may not want me to talk about because I'm getting sappy and crying all the time. But people hold that stuff inside, and now they laying 6 feet under.
Yeah.
They haven't talked. They were scared to talk about their stuff.
Yeah.
I won't be that person. I gotta let it out. When I first started, I tried to edit myself, but it got to a point especially with COVID coming around and other stuff that was going around on in my life during that time. I'm just like, I can't hold it. You gonna get how Rashawn feels today, and then tell whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, go watch another video. Because I'm gonna talk about how I feel right now. Because I done been to too many funerals of my peers. Just found out that the peer of mine been gone for a whole year or two. And I was just at our elementary school, saw him in our class picture. I'm just like, wait, hold up. He died? When? How?
Oh my God.
Wow. So yeah, I'm a very big advocate of telling your story. I want people, it's also domestic violence awareness month. And I want people that are survivors of that to tell their story. I have some people that want to do it, gotta figure out schedules and whatnot. But some people have backed out and don't want to do it because they are either ashamed or whatever the reason may be. Because that's a touchy subject. That really is a touchy subject.
Yeah, it is.
How has your faith helped you in dealing with the struggles you deal with, and having SB? I think you probably answered that too.
Yeah. Yeah, my faith pretty much helps remind me that I'm never alone. Like, it may feel like it sometimes, it may look like it sometimes, but you're never, when you have God as the center of your life and the center of every situation, relationship, whatever, within your life, you're never alone. You can always go to him, and he may not answer right away. He may not answer the way you want him to answer, but he's there. He's going to answer, you know? So my faith is really what has kept my head above water, pretty much, so to speak.
How did you enter the world of pageants?
Good question. So back in, I think, 2014, I'm always Googling something. And I don't even remember exactly what I was trying to Google, but somehow something about Miss Wheelchair Florida came up. And I was like, Miss Wheelchair, who? What? I've never heard of it a day in my life. And when I started reading about it, I was like, oh, this is cool. You know, let me try to see, you know, what's up with this. And that particular time, I think they were getting ready to have the 2014 pageant. So I had to wait the following year, 2015, to compete. And, you know, I reached out to the pageant coordinator, and she gave me, you know, the whole rundown about what it is and what it entails and all that. And she was like, you know, is this something that you really want to do? I was like, yeah, I guess. I mean, hey, sure. And going into it, it was not your typical pageant. It didn't have anything about no beauty. It didn't have anything about swimwear. No, it was more hardcore. It was more about advocating for people with disabilities. How can you make the lives of people with disabilities better? And I went there the first year, had no idea what I was doing, had no idea how to really honestly advocate for myself and for others. Nor did I know how to really, well, I thought I didn't know how to come up with a platform speech, because you have to find something that you're passionate about within the disability community and you pretty much advocate for. So we have to come up with a platform, something that we can, you know, pretty much spread awareness about, something that needs to be brought to the forefront of the disability community. And the first year, I had no idea what I was doing. I got nervous, so I started cracking jokes, and I ended up not placing. But I left, even though I didn't have like any trophies, any awards, or anything like that, I left with really high self-esteem
Good.
and self-confidence. I really left with something more priceless than a trophy or honestly a title, you know. So that was in 2015. And when I went there, met a lot of different people from all genres and I mean not genres, all walks of life and different disabilities and things like that. I left inspired and went home, did my homework, did some advocating around, the city and different things, spreading more awareness. Because my platform that year in particular was speech accessibility, which we need more of. But my speech was all over the place, like I said. So I started cracking jokes, and because I couldn't remember what I was supposed to say, so I just felt like I could tell a joke, and they started laughing, and they did. So hey, that was a win.
Yeah.
So that following year, I didn't compete in 2016, but I went back in 2017, and my platform was actually self confidence. Uh, Loving the person that you are and who God has created you to be. For what was the title? I can't remember the exact title, but it was basically helping people to see themselves the way that God sees them. And he sees all of us beautiful because he looks on the inside. He looks at your heart, not outer appearance. So that year, 2017, I actually placed second runner up. And it was amazing. I was like, I did that. I didn't have any help on my speech, did all that. And then we also, not only on top of the platform speech, we also have, they change it every year, but we have like 3 to 4 rounds of judging as well. Because it starts on like a Thursday or Friday and it ends on like Sunday morning. And the crowning ceremony is that Saturday. So while we're there like that Thursday and Friday, and then that's half of that Saturday leading up to crowning time, we're going back to back with the judges. They're asking us different questions. You don't know what questions they're going to ask. So that makes you nervous in itself because it's like, oh gosh, am I going to know this? Am I going to know that? And I remember, I think the first year, I don't know why the pageant director, she made me study all of this stuff about the ADA Act, and they didn't ask me not one question about an ADA. I'm like, so I sat there and studied all that stuff, and they didn't, for them not to ask me one question about it. But that's the beauty of it. You don't know what they're gonna ask. So it's basically off the top of your head, and that can be very nerve-wracking. So you have to really find something that you're passionate about, that you can really talk about fluently and know what you're talking about, basically. And so that was 2017. I placed second runner up, and you can do it as many times as you want until you take the title. So 2017 second runner up, 2018 first runner up. I did it in 2019. It was all over the place. After I did second runner up, and then last year, I was actually Miss Wheelchair Florida 2023.
She's your queen to be, or is your queen. So everybody, I'm talking to a queen.
I have my crown. You can't see it, but it's here somewhere. It's
She's
put
a
up
queen.
somewhere.
She's still a queen without the crown.
Amen. But yeah, it's a very empowering event. It was crowned Miss Wheelchair Florida 2023. I mean 24, 20, something like that. That's sad. I don't even know.
So you said back when you did it for the first time in
2015.
2015?
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you said that you came out with more self-esteem and whatnot? Or is that 20? Okay.
2015, the very first time that I did it.
Okay.
Because
So
I didn't really know that I had the courage to get in front of people and actually talk and make, I mean, I didn't take, the crown or win any awards, but I made sense. It just wasn't what they were looking for that particular year.
So, did you not have self-confidence? Were you self-conscious? Did you not think yourself worthy? Did you not like yourself? For whatever reason, maybe having SB, maybe having scoliosis. So did it give you more confidence and more self-esteem, or did you not have any self-esteem at all? You just felt like I'm not pretty, I'm not this, I'm not that, but oh, people laughing at me, people like me. Oh, I kind of like it. Oh, you are something, Yvonne. Okay, I see you, girl. Was it that kind of boost of confidence?
So before I started doing them, I was pretty confident, but I didn't know that I had the ability to actually say something and people actually listen. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that I had, that song Whitney Houston, I didn't know my own strength.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yep.
That can really play a part in really my whole life, honestly. That could be a theme song for me, you know. I mean, I've dealt with low self-esteem when I was younger, especially with my looks, because when I think I was in like the 6th grade. Oh, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the 6th grade, and I had a teacher that I don't know what was wrong with her, but she told me one time that I look like the people from Africa.
The what?
The people come from Africa with a big head and a big nose. I have yet to see those people in my 38 years of living. But that scarred me, a 12-year-old. So for a very long time, I would always take pictures like at a certain angle because I didn't like how the structure of my face, because I would always hear her words in my ear. And it took, believe it or not, it took me to turn, I think I was 18 going on 19, or I might have been 19 going on 20. I don't know if you're familiar with CeCe Winans.
Oh.
And she had a youth conference. Mm-hmm. At first, it was called Always Sisters. And then she included the boys, and it was called Always Sisters, Forever Brothers. Mm-hmm. And that, I went to her conference. The very first one was 2000, I want to say 5-ish, maybe 6. And she taught on being daughters of the king. Mm-hmm. And it was something in me that literally turned that self-confidence on. It was her message that really, what's the word, that really penetrated my heart into, it really made me realize, that lady didn't know what she was talking about. She was just saying that just to be mean because of her own self insecurity. Mm-hmm. Her own self-esteem issues, her own insecurities. So it took me a while, though, that many years, to get over words that scarred a child. And I think that was one of my motivations of starting to do pageants. And once I started, I was like, oh, I can really do this. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing really about being pretty, because like I say, the Miss Wheelchair Incorporated is nothing about looks. I mean, of course, they want you to have yourself together, but they're not worried about how your hair is looking. They're not worried about if you got your nails done or, anything like that. Mm-hmm. So it helped me to look take a deeper look into myself and to tap into my God-given abilities to help others feel that love for themselves, first for Christ and for themselves as well, and to see themselves the way that God sees us all. So that's what really made me get into pageantry, was to help that little girl that was bullied pretty much by a teacher, by someone who was supposed to protect and love me, who my mother trusted her child with, but it helped shape me into the confident person that I am today.
What are your wins and titles? So you answered that.
Oh, and then there was another pageant that I won. It was a more local pageant. It was called Fabulous Woman. And I won the title. I actually did it twice. 2018, I placed second runner up. And 2019, I actually won the title. And it was more of like a sisterhood type, women empowerment type of thing. So yeah, that's another pageant that I've
done. Good. Now we're going to get into the questions that I actually wanted to have this conversation with Yvonne. Yes, we met each other, connected through our SB, but hearing her story on top of already having SB, she's going through another journey, and so we're going to get into those questions.
Now this may be the tearjerker because I feel them coming. They trying to well up.
Okay, like I said, wear the tissues. Wear the tissues. And I'm tearing up already.